What's going on, good people? Welcome back to another one. And we are in a week where we are getting closer to the race weekend. Big shout out to everybody in the live chat. I see Lloyd Chaos pulling up first. Big shout out to you, brother, finishing your first Wolfpack grudge race this past Sunday, man. You finished, you didn't get wrecked out. That's all, that really counts for a lot. So you all should be in the driver's room. So big shout out to Lloyd Chaos hopping in, Mechanic Mercedes hopping in for the first time in the Wolfpack Grudge Racing F1 series. We'll be doing that again. That was a good and fun time. But today I want to talk about Lim Lawson and anybody else that pretty much has the same issue. Listen, I definitely enjoy everything. What's up, Mary Beanie? I enjoy everything, a lot of things. Let me not say everything. I enjoy a lot of things about going into a Formula One race weekend. All right. I enjoy free practice. Big shout out to South Africa. I enjoy free practice. I enjoy qualifying. Authentic qualifying mode. I enjoy the race. I also enjoy press conferences. What's up, AD popping in? I also enjoy the weekend warm-ups. I also enjoy the post conferences. I enjoy all of these components that make up for the race weekend, including the driver press conferences. But what I do not enjoy is being aggravated. What I do not enjoy is cringiness. And I am here to say that Lim Lawson needs more than a driving coach if he ever did need one. He needs a speech coach. And this is why I say that. And this might be a bit petty, but I'm just telling you. Anytime Lim Lawson, and I've realized this because I realized it this morning, that's what made me want to make this video. Anytime Lim Lawson is speaking, I automatically start to turn it off. It's almost like Deverdy. Every time David D talks, I have to turn it off. He sounds aggravating. His voice is aggravating. The pitch is aggravating. He's just aggravating to listen to. But Lim Lawson, if all of our engines in the world and cars not ran, if there was no sun, if there was no gasoline, no fossil fuel, we could run them off the engine. And the engine is Lim Lawson. And this is what I mean when I say that, people. Just stick with me when I'm talking about it. It really is one of them things where it's like, brother, we got to do better. We got to do better when it comes to Lim Lawson and his ability to speak. And this is why I say that.
I think, yeah. But in general, but it's just very close over yeah, sort of nearly 2-minute lap. I think it was a more complete weekend. Qualifying was massive. I don't think we could have.
This is wild.
And it was to capitalize.
This is wild.
It's good races like that.
All of this is in 5 minutes.
It's
of
not
speed.
enough. We need to be doing it on busy. It's been
5 minutes.
a well year. Just all, and I think.
It's crazy.
Most of the year. And it's nice it works, but
it was hard to make
as
it
I
through
said,
just this. I had to cut it off when it first
so
initially
obviously
happened.
going this more, but I think right now, he's a people person. He came to us and straight away, and he's very personal with you, and I think into
Yeah, the shit's still
talking
going.
into,
And this is the short version. This is a clip.
I think everybody in the easy to follow, and yeah, person, beautiful family, and he was always
Lawson
yeah,
equals
pushes, but,
in this case, Mary Beanie, you would be
it's
accurate.
qualifying, I think, in the moment, because everybody's just, you don't have a three up your weekend, and I think has been normally in an average qualifying. So and where our weekends have been, well, getting everything out of it and just doing a better job, honestly.
Okay, thanks for that.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that is completely it. Listen, that is wild. Now, by my count, that was close. It's over 50 ums or uhs in just 5 minutes or less of talking. That is wild to me. And I'm going to tell you, that is hard to listen to when you're watching a press conference and somebody's talking. That is hard to listen to. It's hard to do. I mean, it's almost like I could have made a rap song. I could have made a course. I could have made a track off that. I could have made a course or a track off that. And I understand some people say it's because they might not be dominant in English. I'm going to tell you this. There are several other drivers that English is not their first native tongue. And it ain't that. That right there is Lawson is one of the worst. And I mean, it's bad to the point. Anytime he speaks, it is cringy for me. I literally fast forward anytime he's speaking, I fast forward. Except for this, because I had to make this clip. But I fast forward anytime he's speaking. It is absolutely ridiculous. And I might have missed some. It might be closer to 55. 55 ums or uhs within less than 5 minutes of speech is utterly ridiculous. Definitely needs some work. Definitely probably needs a speech coach. Not going to stop there, the driving coach. But as it sits, we're going to probably hear a lot from Liam, probably get a lot from Max Verstappen coming up weekend for the race weekend. And I don't even think Max is that bad. Max is not even that bad. I can't think of somebody else that's that bad when it comes to their speaking ability or fluidity within talking in the press conference. The next, I'm going to see who's next close, because we're going to have to call this the series. Who's going to be in the next or us series? But Lim Lawson right now takes the cake. If he doesn't win anything, he's number one in my book for this. So always do keep in mind, this coming up weekend, we should be having a pretty damn good weekend, all right? Because we're getting back into racing. And I know a lot of you are probably wanting, and some of you are expecting, and some of you are just thinking that we want to see where Ferrari's going to end up, where Ferrari's going to be. And indeed, I do not over expect anything. I can say that. The Racing Bulls and Red Bull, we'll see where they are. I think that McLaren might likely stretch this out. Now, do keep in mind, there are 2 DRS zones, which to me most times means Max is going to be in trouble. Usually he does better when there's only 1 DRS zone, not very long straights or whatever the case may be. But usually he does better when he has the most dominant car, and he doesn't right now. This is going to be a home race, so we will look to see how that's going to go. And do not forget, the fastest lap time is still held by Lewis Hamilton back in 2021 for Zandvoort. So with a 1.11.097, we'll see if somebody's going to break that fastest lap time. I also want to know, what do you all think about the removal of the extra point for the fastest lap? I'm going to do a video on that, maybe. I thought we could maybe talk about it here. I think it is kind of, I think I've kind of got mixed feelings about that. I got mixed feelings about that more so than I do even about the sprint format. I have more mixed feelings about them removing the extra point for the fastest lap in some regard. In some ways, I think it was good for them to remove it, because a lot of times, but then in some ways, I think it's not. I think because it could have been an opportunity for lower teams to try to get in there and get that point. I think it added a bit more of a wrinkle in the competitive event. So it's some mixed emotions on the fastest lap point being removed. I've kind of been paying attention to it through all the racing, kind of wondering what would this race be towards the end if the fast lap point still existed, and teams will play the game even higher up. Even higher up teams will play that game about bringing one of their drivers in for the fastest lap to try to steal that point away. It's a lot of little different nuances to that. I think, like I said, we pretty much already hashed out the sprint race weekend, and I think we all pretty much agree that we're glad it's not over the amount that they already had. I think any more would be ridiculous. So yeah, this is a traditional race weekend, which is another good thing. Not as condensed. The teams are going to have a lot more time to gather themselves together, make updates, and try to make the changes and get used to the track and find out where these cars need to be. We got a full FP1 to FP3, and then we have qualifying, and then we have the race on Sunday before the first. So we're going to have a Wolves Den this weekend. We're going to find out where we're going to put that. Usually we put it post-race day. We'll probably do post-race day again. But maybe if some things happen to take place, be aware that we could do it in between the 30th and the 31st. Post-qualifying, we might have it. So this could be a weekend where a lot of things get sparked up, a lot of interesting things happen. I know several people are still kind of hinging or hanging on if there's going to be some type of announcement made that will bring the Max Verstappen sweepstakes to a more defined point. about where he might be going, because we've been here before where it seems like, okay, this is what it is. And then all of a sudden things kind of die down and then bam, they drop some news on you. So we'll see what's going to happen from that point. Also, we're still keeping in mind that we want to know what's going to happen with the Cadillac team, right? Valtteri is definitely a name that has been heavily attached to Cadillac in driver placement when they've been brought up. I don't know if that's going to be a sure deal. I do know where there's smoke, there's fire, and Valtteri's name is the smoke that has been flying the highest. Now we're worried about where that second seat, who's that second seat is going to go to. That's going to be interesting. Of course, also Aston Martin is on my radar. I don't know about you all and your radar, but Aston Martin is on my radar. Trying to see if Aston's going to be improving since Adrian Newey seems to be more cemented into the team function and processes. We saw a bit of a surprise performance from both Aston Martin cars in that past previous race weekend. Now I want to see going forward, is Aston Martin about to flip their season, kind of like they did before, but in the inverse, how they were very strong and competitive up front, and then on the back half, they just fell off. On the front half of this season, they have been very desolate and then now destitute, and now we're going to see what's going to happen on this back half. Are they going to be excelling and improving because Adrian Newey is more involved as the process is in place? And then what happens going into 2026 with everything else kind of coming together? I think Aston Martin possibly take a front load dip and then find their ground and start running about midway 2026 season with everything that they have coming together. They got a lot of components that are going to be coming together. And when you got that many components coming together, it can kind of delay your progression on performance. So, yeah, there's a lot of things for us to pay attention to this weekend. We're going to see what comes out, what pops. Big shout out to everybody. I love seeing all these purple badges, Mary Beanie, blue badges, Lord Chaos, AD. You're going to have your, I think it's going to be your first roll up on the Patronus blue badge or the green badge eventually. So big shout out to you. Also, do not forget, we will and still are taking anybody who is doing super chats. Your name has been collected since the last super chat drawing, and that prize was sent out to Incredible Facts Quest. There's going to be another prize up for grabs. We're going to find out when I'm going to stop those entries. So when I let you know, like, hey, this is the last weekend for entries and super chats to get into the next giveaway to have your name on the wheel, then that's going to be it. And then we'll start the next collection of super chats for another gift that will be given away again. So do make sure you keep up with that. All right. So with that being said, we are getting ready for a race weekend. I will be live multiple times again this weekend, especially during Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But in between that, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we'll do something. Now, tomorrow, I do have some things going on that are medically involved. So I don't know if I will be on tomorrow, but I will. I look to be on Wednesday, at least no later than Thursday. So just keep your eye out, keep your reminders on, and I will see you on the next one. And big shout out to everybody that's pulling up to this one. And Lord Chaos, big shout out to you for joining the Wolfpack Grudge Race, brother. All right, see y'all on the next one.